Hello. Cheese can help strengthen bones, but there are also types that can harm the heart and increase blood pressure if eaten incorrectly. Today I will reveal 4 types of cheese that are very good for the elderly and 4 types that should be avoided to protect health. Don't miss it. Eat right, be healthy, live happily. I'm Dr. Evan Bonehart, a healthcare specialist for the elderly focusing on bones, joints, and muscles. Welcome to Bones Elderly, a channel where we share knowledge, experience, and practical advice to help you better care for your elderly loved ones. But let's start with the good news. There are some cheeses that absolutely deserve a spot in your fridge. And the first one I want to talk about is goat cheese. Now, maybe you've tried goat cheese before, maybe it's a little unfamiliar, but let me tell you, this soft, tangy cheese has a lot going for it. First, it's naturally lower in lactose than cow's milk cheese, which makes it easier to digest for many people. If you've ever felt bloated or uncomfortable after eating cheese, switching to goat cheese might make a big difference. Goat cheese is also rich in something called medium-chain fatty acids, which are fats your body can turn into energy more quickly than other types of fat. That means goat cheese not only gives you flavor, it can also give you a little boost of fuel without weighing you down. And here's another benefit. Goat cheese tends to be lower in sodium than many other cheeses, which is good news for your heart and blood pressure. You can crumble goat cheese over a salad, spread it onto whole grain crackers, or stir it into scrambled eggs for a creamy, satisfying breakfast. It's versatile, delicious, and every bite is working with your body, not against it. Now let's talk about another wonderful choice, Swiss cheese. Yes, that familiar holy cheese you've probably seen on sandwiches or cheese platters. Swiss cheese has a milder flavor, but don't let that fool you. It's packed with protein and calcium, both essential for keeping your bones strong as you age. But what makes Swiss cheese really stand out is that it's naturally lower in sodium compared to many other cheeses. That's a big win for anyone watching their blood pressure. Swiss cheese also contains vitamin B12, which is important for nerve health and energy. And here's something interesting. The bacteria used to make Swiss cheese produce compounds that may support gut health. So you're not just getting protein and calcium, you're getting a little digestive help too. A slice of Swiss on a sandwich, melted into a vegetable omelet, or paired with apple slices makes for a satisfying, nourishing snack or meal. And because it's flavorful without being salty, it's easy to enjoy without going overboard on sodium. As we talk about the cheeses that support our health, I want you to imagine how these small choices can build up over time. Every meal, every snack, every ingredient you choose is a quiet investment in your strength, your energy, your future. And cheese doesn't have to be something you cut out, it can absolutely be part of a balanced, joyful way of eating. But while we're on the topic of cheese, we also need to talk about the kinds that might be doing more harm than good. And the first one I want to gently caution you about is processed cheese spreads. You know the ones I'm talking about, the soft, spreadable cheeses that come in little tubs or foil-wrapped wedges, often labeled as cheese food or cheese product. They might be convenient, but here's the problem. They're often filled with additives, preservatives, artificial colors, and extra sodium. Processed cheese spreads are made by combining cheese with emulsifiers and stabilizers to create a smooth, shelf-stable product. But in the process, many of the natural nutrients found in real cheese are lost or diluted. What you're left with is a product that looks like cheese, tastes kind of like cheese, but doesn't give your body the same benefits. And that extra sodium? It can quietly add up, especially if you're already getting salt from other foods during the day. Too much sodium can contribute to high blood pressure, bloating, and increased strain on your heart and kidneys. And the artificial additives? They may not be doing your digestion or overall health any favors. If you've been reaching for those processed cheese spreads because they're easy or familiar, consider swapping them out for real cheeses like goat or Swiss. It might take a little adjustment, but your body will thank you for choosing something closer to nature, something with more of the nutrients you need and less of the stuff you don't. I know it can feel overwhelming when we start thinking about all the little things in our diet that add up over time. But I want to remind you, this isn't about perfection. It's about gentle shifts. It's about choosing the better option when you can. And it's about creating meals and moments that nourish you, that fuel you, that let you keep showing up for the people and activities you love. Imagine making a sandwich with whole grain bread, fresh vegetables, and a slice of Swiss instead of processed cheese spread. Imagine a salad sprinkled with crumbled goat cheese instead of dressing loaded with preservatives. These small swaps don't just make a difference in the numbers on a nutrition label, they make a difference in how you feel, how you move, how you age. And as we continue this journey together, there are still more cheeses to explore, more delicious options that support your health, and a few more to be cautious about. Because when we know better, we can choose better. And those choices? They add up to a stronger, healthier, more vibrant you. We've already started filling our plate with some wonderful choices, haven't we? Goat cheese and Swiss cheese, two cheeses that aren't just delicious but actually work with your body to support stronger bones, better digestion, and steady energy. And we've also uncovered that processed cheese spreads, as convenient as they might seem, may not be doing us any favors. But let's keep going, because there are more cheeses worth celebrating and a few more that deserve a second look. Let's talk next about one of my personal favorites, feta cheese. Have you ever crumbled feta over a salad or tucked it into a warm wrap? There's something about its tangy, salty bite that just makes everything taste a little brighter. But feta isn't just flavorful, it's surprisingly good for you too. One of the reasons feta stands out is that it's lower in fat and calories compared to many other cheeses, yet still provides a satisfying richness. It's traditionally made from sheep's milk or a combination of sheep and goat's milk, which makes it naturally easier to digest for many people, especially those who struggle with cow's milk products. Feta also brings calcium and protein to the table, supporting bone health and muscle maintenance, two things that become especially important as we get older. And here's something many people don't realize: feta contains beneficial probiotics. Those friendly bacteria help support your gut health, which plays a role in digestion, immune function, and even mood. A sprinkle of feta over roasted vegetables, a crumble in a spinach omelet, or a few cubes tossed into a grain salad can transform a meal from ordinary to nourishing and flavorful. And because feta has a strong flavor, a little goes a long way. You don't need much to get that satisfying taste. Now, while we're on the topic of cheeses to enjoy, let's talk about one that feels like a treat but can still fit beautifully into a balanced diet. Mozzarella, especially fresh mozzarella, and even better if it's buffalo mozzarella. Have you ever tried that soft, milky, delicate cheese that pairs so perfectly with tomatoes and basil? That's the one. Fresh mozzarella is lower in sodium than many aged cheeses, and it contains less saturated fat while still providing a nice dose of protein and calcium. Buffalo mozzarella, made from water buffalo milk, has a slightly richer flavor and more nutrients, including higher calcium and protein content than regular cow's milk mozzarella. What makes fresh mozzarella such a smart choice is how mild and simple it is. Unlike processed cheeses or heavily salted varieties, fresh mozzarella is closer to its natural state. It's minimally processed, free from artificial additives, and pairs beautifully with wholesome ingredients like fresh vegetables, olive oil, and whole grains. A classic caprese salad with slices of fresh mozzarella, juicy tomatoes, basil, and a drizzle of olive oil isn't just pretty on the plate, it's a meal that nourishes your bones, muscles, and heart. You can also melt fresh mozzarella onto whole grain toast, layer it into a veggie-packed sandwich, or simply enjoy a few slices with fruit for a satisfying snack. Now, as we fill our fridge with these better choices, goat cheese, Swiss cheese, feta, mozzarella, we're creating a landscape of foods that support us, that energize us, that help us stay strong and steady. But just like we discovered with processed cheese spreads, there are still a few cheeses that, while tasty, might be quietly working against us. One of those is cream cheese. Now, I know cream cheese is a classic. Maybe you've been spreading it on bagels for years, or using it in dips and desserts. But here's the challenge. Cream cheese is high in saturated fat, low in protein, and offers very little nutritional value beyond calories and fat. And because it's soft and spreadable, it's easy to use more than we realize. Unlike cheeses like feta or Swiss, cream cheese doesn't bring much calcium or protein to the table. It's creamy and comforting, sure, but it's not giving your bones or muscles the support they need. And that saturated fat can quietly add up, contributing to higher cholesterol over time if eaten regularly in large amounts. If you love the idea of a creamy spread, consider swapping cream cheese for a spread of mashed avocado, hummus, or even a layer of goat cheese mixed with herbs. These alternatives offer more nutrients and healthier fats, while still giving you that satisfying richness. It's not about cutting out every indulgence, it's about choosing options that work with your goals, your health, your body's needs. Because when we nourish ourselves well, we're not just filling up, we're fueling the future. And isn't that the goal? To keep showing up strong and steady for the things we love? Whether that's playing with grandkids, walking the dog, tending the garden, or simply feeling confident in our own skin, the food we choose plays a quiet but powerful role in making that possible. I want you to imagine something: opening your fridge and seeing cheeses that nourish you, choices that support you, flavors that satisfy without weighing you down. Goat cheese for your salads, Swiss for your sandwiches, feta for your veggie dishes, fresh mozzarella for your tomatoes and basil. Every one of these choices brings a little more strength, a little more balance, a little more vitality to your plate. And knowing which cheeses to enjoy and which to limit gives you freedom. Freedom to enjoy food without guilt. Freedom to make choices that align with your health goals. Freedom to savor meals that feel good both in the moment and in the long run. We've uncovered so much already, and there's still more to explore. Because as much as I love celebrating the good cheeses, there are still a couple more I want to gently caution you about: cheeses that, while popular, might be working quietly against your heart, your blood pressure, your energy. And the more we know, the more empowered we are to choose well. We've already made such beautiful progress together, haven't we? We've filled your fridge with nourishing, flavorful choices: goat cheese, Swiss cheese, feta, fresh mozzarella, and we've gently stepped away from processed cheese spreads and cream cheese, knowing they don't offer the same goodness. And now, as we keep building this picture of what supports your health, there are just a couple more cheeses I want to gently caution you about so you can make truly empowered choices. Let's talk about blue cheese. Now, I know blue cheese has its fans. Maybe you've enjoyed it crumbled over a salad, melted into a sauce, or spread on a cracker. It's bold, tangy, unmistakable. But here's the thing: blue cheese, for all its flavor, comes with some challenges, especially for older adults. Blue cheese is higher in sodium than many other cheeses. And that extra salt, if eaten regularly, can add up quietly. High sodium intake over time contributes to higher blood pressure, which puts added strain on your heart, kidneys, and blood vessels. For someone already keeping an eye on blood pressure, adding blue cheese into meals might push things in the wrong direction without even realizing it. Blue cheese also contains higher levels of saturated fat compared to some milder cheeses. And while a little saturated fat here and there isn't harmful, eating a lot of high-fat cheeses regularly can gradually contribute to elevated cholesterol over time. But there's something else. The mold cultures that give blue cheese its distinctive veins and flavor can be problematic for folks with certain sensitivities. For some, blue cheese might trigger headaches or digestive discomfort. For others, it's no problem at all. But it's worth being mindful of, especially if you've ever noticed not feeling great after eating it. If you love the strong, savory punch of blue cheese, consider using it sparingly, just a crumble for flavor rather than a main ingredient. Or experiment with sharp aged cheddar or a sprinkle of Parmesan to get that bold flavor in smaller, lower sodium amounts. And now, let's talk about a cheese that's a staple in many households but deserves a closer look: American cheese. Those individually wrapped slices, the melt-on contact squares that turn sandwiches and burgers into childhood favorites, they're nostalgic, familiar, comforting. But unfortunately, they're not offering much in the way of real nutrition. You see, American cheese isn't technically cheese in the traditional sense. It's a processed cheese product. It's made by combining cheese with emulsifiers, preservatives, stabilizers, and other additives to create a uniform, shelf-stable slice that melts perfectly. But in the process, many natural nutrients are lost or diluted, and extra salt and artificial ingredients are added to compensate. American cheese tends to be very high in sodium and lower in protein and calcium compared to real cheeses like Swiss or mozzarella. And those additives? They don't support your body the way natural, minimally processed foods do. I know it's easy to reach for American cheese because it melts beautifully, it's familiar, it's affordable. But there are better ways to get that creamy melt and satisfying bite. Consider thinly sliced Swiss, a bit of fresh mozzarella, or even goat cheese spread lightly on whole grain bread. These choices give you the flavor and texture you're craving, without the extra salt and artificial ingredients. It's not about perfection, it's about those gentle swaps that add up over time. It's about moving from what's easy to what's nourishing. And it's about recognizing that every bite is an opportunity to fuel your strength, your balance, your health. Imagine standing in that cheese aisle again, but this time, instead of feeling overwhelmed or unsure, you're confident. You're picking up goat cheese, thinking about the salad you'll toss it onto. You're reaching for fresh mozzarella, picturing a caprese plate with ripe tomatoes and basil. You're grabbing a wedge of Swiss, already imagining it melted into your omelet or folded into a sandwich. You're walking past the processed slices and spreads, knowing they don't serve you the same way. And as you build those small habits, as you swap this for that, as you fill your plate with choices that nourish rather than deplete, you're sending a powerful message to your body: I care. I'm invested. I'm showing up for you. Because food isn't just fuel, it's a daily act of self-care. It's a way we honor the body that's carried us this far, the body we want to keep strong, mobile, and capable for years to come. And when we choose well, when we feed ourselves with intention, we create a foundation for vitality that supports everything else. Our energy, our memory, our ability to keep doing what we love. Maybe tonight you'll crumble a little feta over your dinner. Maybe tomorrow's lunch will feature a slice of Swiss with crisp veggies. Maybe you'll experiment with a new way to enjoy goat cheese or mozzarella. Every small choice is a win. Every small step moves you closer to feeling steady, strong, and satisfied. I'd love to hear from you. Which cheese are you excited to try or try more often? What swap are you inspired to make? Leave me a comment below and share your thoughts. Your story might encourage someone else watching, someone who's just starting to make these changes too. And if this video has helped you feel more empowered, if it sparked a new idea or helped clear up some confusion, I'd be so grateful if you clicked the like button. It helps more people discover this message. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. We're building a community here, a place where growing older means growing wiser, stronger, more intentional, more joyful. Because aging isn't about decline. It's about learning. It's about adjusting. It's about embracing new ways to care for ourselves, to nourish ourselves, to celebrate every year as a chance to keep thriving. Here's to you, to your health, to your strength, to your beautiful, evolving journey. Here's to living your best life at every age. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.